Shut it back. Words of a face, something like a bat. Well, I want your love, call me when you can. Girl, going up, going up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going into a deep dive on Defense Deoxys. So Defense Deoxys is an interesting Pokemon because he can only be gotten through raiding. And, well, before this last week, you could only get him when his form was out. I think that was a long time ago, maybe a few months ago, through X raids or EX raids. And with the Ultra bonus this week, you're actually able to get him in Tier 5 raids along with the other forms of Deoxys. But I think for PvP, Defense Form Deoxys is the only one that's going to be very good in the Great League. I think the attack form does fall below 1500, but the attack form is like what it says. It's an attack form and has almost no defense, so it's not going to do well in PvP. So let's go over its moves. I think the first thing you'll notice is it has one fast move and 3 charge moves, but they're all different types, so the coverage is actually pretty insanely good on Defense Form Deoxys here. So the fast move is Counter, which is going to be a high energy move and pretty decent damage. Counter is going to be doing super effective damage against Steel, Ice, Rock, Dark, and Normal types. And the charge moves of choice, usually you're always going to have Psycho Boost, since it gets that extra damage since it's the same type as the Pokemon being used. And Psycho Boost is going to take 7 counters to charge up, and Psychic is good against fighting and poison. So of the next two, it's really your choice depending on what the meta is. Both are kind of anti-flyer, so it's kind of what else do you want to be good against. And Rock Slide and Thunderbolt both take about 8, or well, they both take exactly 8 counters to get charged up. You'll have a little bit of excess energy on both after 8 counters. But for Rock Slide, if you want to be good against flying as well as Ice, Fire, and Bug, and then you would take Thunderbolt if you want to be good against, like I said, flying as well, but also against water types. So since you can only get Defense Form Deoxys from raiding, the best IVs for it are 10, 15, 13, and you'll only have to get it to level 24. And considering if you get a non-weather boosted Defense Deoxys, you'll get that at level 20. Only takes a few charges to get him to his max level. I think he comes in around 1200 and something CP and goes up by, I think, 40 to 55. And so yeah, only a few charges to get to the level 24 there. If it is weather boosted, it would be level 25, and I don't think it falls below 1500 at level 25. Yeah, since you can't get any lower IVs than 10 on each of the stats for rating, that's going to be difficult. So as far as resistances, it resists Psychic resists Psychic, but it also resists Fighting, and it has weaknesses against Bug, Dark, and Ghost. So some of the good things about it is that it is single typing, which the previous deep dives have been Pokemon that have multi-types, and those types cover for each other to add to resistances, but it also adds to their weaknesses. So the good thing about a single typing is that you have a very centralized set of weaknesses. Only things that are good against Psychic are going to be good against Defense Deoxys, but on the flip side, the only things that Defense Deoxys is going to be super effective against are things that are going to be Psychic, if all of its moves were Psychic. But that's the thing about Defense Deoxys, has such good coverage moves that while you would only be good against quote-unquote things good against that Psychic is good against, you actually gain all these other things because of the coverage moves. And another amazing thing about Defense Deoxys is that it has one of the highest defense stats in the game. Along with that, has a pretty average attack stat, which Usually these two are inversely relational, and what I mean by that is if I have a huge attack stat, usually I have a very low defense stat, and the inverse is true. But for Defense Deoxys, that's why he's so good. He has a decent attack stat and an insane defense stat. So let's go over the things that Defense Deoxys is good against. And that is going to be Lantern, Skarmory, Tropius, Frostlass, Bastiodon, Probopass, and Melmetal. And a theme you'll notice in those Pokemon is that they're all the tanks, or well, some of them are the tanks of the meta. So it's interesting because Defense Deoxys is one of the most tankiest Pokemon in the game, and he's a tank that can beat all the other tanks. So Lantern is similar to that, except that Defense Deoxys actually beats Lantern. It's a super close matchup. Lantern, I think, goes out, and Defense Deoxys has like 1 or 2 HP left if you go straight Psycho Boost against him in the 2-shield scenario. So some of the Pokemon that Defense Deoxys is bad against are the things that are listed in the weaknesses for Psychic, and that is the Bug types, the Dark types, and the Ghost types. So some of the most notable ones are Beedrill, Umbreon, Haunter, Drapion, Sableye, and actually loses to Togekiss as well. It's because that charm damage is doing so much damage. And the more shields that you add to the scenario, the stronger that Togekiss does become, since it doesn't really use any charge moves, just uses that charm fast attack. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Defense Deoxys. Thanks for watching.